Hi guys, now listen, I know there is a lot of outrage regarding Shane Jones at the minute and his $63,000 4-day trip to Toronto, but I have to tell you all, I am here to defend him. What everyone seems to forget is that poor Shane Jones was only going to freezing cold Toronto for us, the taxpayer. He was not going to engorge himself on luxuries at our expense. No way. Admittedly, his 4-day hotel bill came in at $13,397, but Toronto is cold, and some of them cheaper hotels haven't got very good insulation, and people seem to be forgetting that this bill will also have meals on it, so it's obviously going to be expensive. And it is common knowledge that the TV shows in these Toronto hotels are notoriously boring. Who knows, poor Shane might have had to bust some movies on the hotel tab. Sometimes a red-blooded male like Shane just needs something a bit more exciting to watch, if you know what I mean. So think about it. Poor Shane spent a mere $13,397 on 4 nights accommodation. I mean, who out of you watching now can say that you haven't spent $13,397 on a 4-night stay away? And I do also find it hard to see Shane getting chastised over the limousine that he hired for approximately $4,600, which he had on standby for 24 hours during this trip. Now, like he says here when questioned about it.
Hey Minister, why did you need a private limo on standby for 24 hours over 3 days?
I presume that's when I was in chilly, cold, snow, blizzard-riddled Toronto.
Could you take a taxi?
I beg pardon?
Could you have taken a taxi?
I presume that's when I was in chilly, cold, snow, blizzard-riddled Toronto, and he is right. For people who have not been to Toronto, when it's cold, it is a very dangerous place. At any moment you can just freeze to death, or be blown into the harbour, especially if you are only slightly built. I honestly don't think that a normal taxi that would have cost a fraction of that limo cost would have been rugged enough to guarantee Shane's safety. I really don't. Toronto is a scary place, guys. And then I hear people moaning about the flight costs. Okay. The original budget was $15,600 for 2 premium economy flights. But it's not Shane's fault that there was some sort of mix-up that meant he actually had to fly in business class for $41,116. I mean, surely this has happened to you guys, where some stranger or a group of strangers have suddenly paid for your upgrade. Surely. And I have absolutely no doubt that Shane, when he realised the mix-up, would have went straight to customer services and demand that he be downgraded, because that's the type of guy he is. So after this media pile-on, it's good to see Winston come out defending poor Shane. Like Winston says, it's nothing out of the ordinary, which means this obviously must happen all at a time, and if we can rely on anyone to have models, it's Winston. After all, he refused to sign the Indian Free Trade Agreement, which is going to make life impossible for young Kiwis moving forward. He then also refused to work with Labour, which is the right thing to do for a party called New Zealand First, because Labour incredibly are backing the Free Trade Agreement. If you had a principled person like Winston, you'd rule out working with anyone who has signed up to this disastrous deal that is going to destroy New Zealand for so many New Zealanders. Which I have to admit does make me wonder, when is Winston also going to rule out working with National and ACT? I mean, how can a party called New Zealand First work with any party that is selling New Zealand out and putting New Zealand last? But I suppose it's only a matter of time before he does the right thing. So yes, seeing as I have done such a good job at defending Shane Jones, I am now also going to defend Chris Hipkins. That poor man has been dragged over the coals for simply using taxpayers' money to buy himself another house. What is wrong with that? I mean, Chris won't say it's taxpayers' money. Well, he didn't, in fact. He said, ultimately, it's my money. But the very generous MP's taxpayer subsidised superannuation scheme that he used to purchase the house means that every $1 he puts in, the taxpayer, you and me, puts in $2.50. So I suppose in a way he is right. $1 is his and $2.50 was ours, but now is his also. But listen, surely no one watching this can see a problem with that. Loads of MPs do it. I mean, why should us taxpayers not be paying for holiday homes for rich MPs? They do so much for us after all. Their self-sacrifice is what makes this country so great and all of us so rich. And come on, Do you really think that any of them would enrich themselves without enriching us too? There's no chance. All of these MPs are only doing this for us. Which brings me on to Christopher Luxon. It makes me so angry seeing the treatment that poor Christopher gets in the media. I mean, in my eyes, that poor man is the closest thing I have seen to a New Zealand Jesus. Remember the time when he first came to power and wasn't prepared to stay in Premier House during his Wellington trips? Now for the rest of us plebs, we see Premier House and we see a mansion that would be an absolute honour to stay in. But that's what separates us from the genius MPs. Chris could see the Premier House needed a new lick of paint and some curtains. Something none of us would have noticed. In our ignorance, we would have just stayed there, and who knows what might have happened to us. Incorrectly fitting curtains can let in unwanted UV rays, which is very risky in New Zealand with so little ozone. So what did Chris do? He didn't complain, no. He went straight to his own mortgage-free apartment in Wellington and stayed there. For this sacrifice, all he wanted was for us, the taxpayer, to pay him a mere $52,000 per year allowance. Some people actually had the audacity of calling Chris out for being greedy. But what they don't realise is that Chris has many millions of dollars already. Chris didn't need the $52,000. He was only taking it to make us feel less guilty for putting him through the dangers of the badly fitted curtains at Premier House. And that's not the only thing. Poor Christopher bought his electorate office. He is that dedicated to the New Zealand people that he actually bought his own office. Now, what type of guy would do that? And once again, what did Chris do to make us all feel less guilty for seeing the sacrifices he has made? That's right, he begrudgingly accepts $45,000 per year from us taxpayers to rent his own office from him to pay him, which you all have to agree is selfless. And then there was that time that scruffy Hipkins left the PM's office in the Beehive in such a state that Luxon had to spend $57,000 of taxpayers' money to make it right. Now, he didn't just do that for himself, no. Think about it. We will also all benefit. A comfortable Prime Minister will work even harder on our behalf. That man is always thinking of us. Which is why it is so hard to hear people say that Christopher only changed the bright line test rules from 10 years back to 2 years to enrich himself. Imagine saying that. It was only a mere coincidence that this change coincided with the sale of several of his investment properties, meaning that he saved many tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just a coincidence. And are you guys really that cynical? That you guys think he would have only made that change at that time just to benefit himself? I don't think so. And talking of benefiting himself, some of you actually claim that Christopher changed the rules so that foreign investors can now buy a property worth over $5 million just because he owns a property on Waiheke valued at over $5 million. Obviously, this change will keep pumping house prices that are valued over $5 million, and it will stop these house prices from ever crashing. And obviously, this is once again just a mere coincidence. I mean, some of you are even that petty that when Christopher challenged the council about the valuation of his Waiheke property, meaning that its valuation dropped from $10.5 million to $7 million, you somehow turned it round, implying that the multi-millionaire Christopher was only doing this to save $8,100 on his annual rate bill. Now, admittedly, that's what happened, and it meant less money was available for the local council, but come on, that's not why he did it. So yes, guys, everyone has to wake up. I really think it's about time that we all started seeing these politicians for what they are. We are so lucky to have such genuine people working hard for us at their own expense. And hopefully, if we keep voting for the same old parties, nothing will change. And everything will just keep carrying on down this same old merry path. Fortunately, our MPs know what's best for us, and that's the way it has always been, and that's the way it always should be. And if you have got any other examples of where our selfless politicians have sacrificed so much for us, like when Paul Luxon had to get that Tesla, or when that poor Greens lady selflessly checked out the security arrangements in her local designer shop, then please put them in the comments so other people can see how lucky we are. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.